Episode 81 of BigRedBarel Geek Speak, your place for all your nerdy needs on BigRedBarel.com. I am your host, Lauren, and with me as always is the Baroness of Butter, Amorous Auntie Alex.
Ultimate Butts!
And the jaunty, jubilant juggernaut of Joe.
Just regular size butts.
What? What the hell? We don't want regular sized butts.
Like a petite butt.
All butt sizes are welcome, we're not butters.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like big butts and I cannot lie.
That's why you like mine, isn't it?
I love yours.
Apologies for being off the last couple of weeks. I would like to say a very big thank you to Alex for taking over host duties.
And to Cool Woman.
Oh yeah, Colewoman. And Colewoman, apparently.
Yes.
That was coined by Dan when I first joined, and I think it was on a stream or something many years ago now. Yeah, and this is the podcast for all your geeky needs, is it, Al?
Yes. It is very... What is that something I said that was wrong?
No, I was just listening to your intro. I was like, oh, it's so cute.
I know, I also stumbled. I noticed that I stumbled at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, I can't even edit it out. Because I stumbled so awkwardly that I just had to leave it in. And it was the second time me doing that intro, because the first time I said podcast, and I was like, what is that? What is a podcast?
I just found it quite funny listening to last week's episode, or this week's, because it came out the day we were recording. Guys are all about talking about all the alliteration in Marvel movies and so on.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't even mention your own titles in this podcast.
This is true. We are failures.
I name everyone based on that whole alliterative thing.
Yeah, we kind of forgot.
Yes. Yeah, and you forgot the key alliterative name that you even mentioned him on the podcast, Wade Wilson.
Yes.
I did get a little bit annoyed at Bleezy. Not at Joe for not liking Deadpool, that's your own opinion, but Bleezy putting you through the ringer, considering the amount of times I've had to explain Deadpool to that boy whenever I've seen him. Oh, you're the Deadpool be-all and end-all, are you now? Stop being mean to other people just because it's not their thing, and back in your corner, Bracken.
Barney
Bracken.
Barney Bracken.
Barney Bracken. Alright, on to Time Waste of the Week. Not quite 15 minutes long intro this week. We're gonna move on a swift pace. This one's from me. I found a cool little video. It is a little Facebook video I found from Did You Know blog. And it's just a little video of some guys up on the International Space Station, and they're playing with the lack of gravity up there, and they have a sphere of water just floating there. They add some food colouring to it so it looks really pretty, and then they add some Alka-Seltzer tablets or effervescent tablets. And it just kind of looks like a ball of mana that's convulsing and popping and expanding with bubbles inside. And it just looks really cool. And it's like less than a minute long. Cool little video. Check it out. The link will be in the show notes. Yeah, just a nice little time waster. I like watching anything to do with like the anti-gravity stuff the lack of gravity stuff in space. I think it's very interesting and weird to look at.
It is very satisfying just looking at the bubble change color while floating in space. I guess, in vacuum. It's like, I want the colourful bubbles.
It's not a vacuum because they do have air, it's just lack of gravity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Duh, ugh. Guys, I had a long day. There's gonna be many brain farts to come. I apologize. I'm not actually that stupid, but I am.
I am that stupid, don't worry.
Yeah, me too.
None of you are stupid. Be quiet. Ugh.
Neither are you, so be quiet yourself.
I'm quite stupid, but it's okay.
You're currently doing your second architecture degree.
Yeah,
you're definitely not stupid.
No, the thing is,
yeah.
For architecture, you don't need to be necessarily particularly that clever. You just need to have wacky ideas and have hands growing out of the right places, and I can't even do that because my hands are growing right out of my ass. You should see the drawings I do. Ugh. Anyway, enough self-deprecation. Enough.
I thought you were going to say ass is the appropriate place for your hands to be coming out of, because as architects students, they just put something anywhere, really. I don't know. Sorry, I was just imagining hands coming out your ass. I've lost myself now.
It's something I said now, and I said to someone the other day. I'm translating Russian expressions very roughly into English, and in my head it fits perfectly, because I'm like, yeah, that's how it sounds, and everyone was like, where did you come up with? Like, hands growing out of your ass. That's Russian thing saying that basically you can't do anything with your hands. And there was another one that I said to someone the other day, how you name a boat is how it's gonna float. So like, I don't know, if you have like a pretentious name, you're gonna be pretentious or something like this. Not exactly that, but
Interesting.
and it was like, oh, we've never heard about this. And I was like, but this is so ingrained in my brain. Oh, it's Russian. I translated Russian without knowing. Great. Anyway, sorry.
I love colloquialisms. It's so interesting. It's just like weird how different areas have different sayings for the same thing. Angawowen or angabanga is Welsh terms for just like, wait a moment, and things like that. And if I say those kind of sentences to people, they just look at me like I have two heads. It makes sense where I'm from.
Yeah, it makes sense in our heads.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But most of you know the stories about how I've had to change my accent for people to understand me. And Alex, I assume you've done the same as well.
I don't really change my accent. It just comes out of my mouth weirdly. I wish I could, though. I really wish I could. But no, I'm really terrible with accents. I'd even have the worst Transylvanian accent you ever heard. And no, I will not do it for you.
Yeah, my accent currently is very toned down, and Alex has spoken to my dad on the phone in the pub when I was a little drunk, and she knows the stem of my accent is extremely Welsh, unfortunately. Right, so moving on to our topic. So, Joe, you have been watching a movie. I don't know, did you read the book first, or have you just gone straight into the movie?
No. I just went straight into the movie. So, yeah, this is the film The Girl with All the Gifts, which is on Blu-ray and DVD now. I think it came out in cinemas last September, had a bit of a limited release, I think.
It was quite a quiet one.
Yes, yeah, it's a relatively small film, directed by a guy called Colm McCarthy. I believe this is his first feature, although he did direct episodes of Sherlock and Peaky Blinders, so he sort of made the leap into features. And yeah, it's a zombie movie essentially, and I've got a lot of time for zombie movies, even terrible ones, because they're just always really good fun, really entertaining.
Oh, I love zombie movies.
Yeah, they're great. And this one's a little different in that, well, I say a little different, it's really not very different. It's taken a lot of cues from The Last of Us and things like that in its presentation. So the basis of the story is that we're in the near future and humanity has been pretty much wiped out by a fungal parasite, very much like what you have in The Last of Us, that grows on the brain and turns people into zombies, although in this film they're called hungries.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. Hungries. That just sounds adorable. I don't know why.
Oh, hungries. Oh, look at the hungries trying to eat that person. Oh. The film starts out, I won't go into obviously lots of details, but the film starts out at an army base where they're kind of trying to research a vaccine. And there's a group of children who are like second generation hungries, essentially. And they have retained intelligence, but are still zombies. So there's quite an interesting few scenes where they've got them kind of in a classroom, so they're sort of teaching them as if they're normal children.
Yeah, that's in the trailer, I believe.
Yeah, but still, they're still zombies. And we start off there, and then as things often happen in films of this nature, things go wrong. Our main characters end up kind of on the road. And it sort of develops from there. And the key person in this film is this young girl, Melanie, who's one of the second generation hungry children. And she's got a very high IQ. And it transpires that a scientist lady, played by Glenn Close, and I've always got a lot of time for Glenn Close.
She's good.
Yeah, she's great. She's really good in this too. She's trying to develop a vaccine, and how the film kind of develops is sort of like this question about, like, is there a moral dilemma here with experimenting on these children to try and find a cure for the last dregs of humanity, because humanity is pretty much done. It goes in a lot of interesting directions. Gemma Arterton's in it, and I'm not overly keen on her. I think she can be quite hit and miss, but in this she's very good. And Paddy Considine's in it as well, and he's always great.
Him. He's fantastic.
And it's a very British zombie film in how it's done. It doesn't labour any points. It's quite subtle in how it does things. It has some really great scenes. I think it has taken a lot of lessons from things like The Last of Us in terms of how it presents its world, where humanity has fallen apart and nature has taken over. But yeah, if you like zombie films, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a little slower paced than a lot of zombie films that people might be sort of familiar with, but still very much worth checking out.
One thing I was curious about was the whole idea of a second generation zombie. I know if I watch it or read the book, I'll find this out. Surely, if they are zombie like these hungries, then they would have a limited blood supply and wouldn't be able to have erections or have sex or gestate enough to have a baby.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting actually. Like, I think some of I don't think the film ever fully explains exactly how these children came to be. Although I think it kind of hints that they came from pregnancies that happened from people who were infected after they got pregnant, basically.
Oh, like Blade type thing.
Yeah, I guess something kind of along those lines. But the film never really worries about that so much. It doesn't even really explain fully how the apocalypse came to be. It's just kind of like, there was this parasitic fungal infection, and look, everything's gone to hell, and nature has taken over again. And it's quite interesting. I liked it a lot, actually. I thought it was really good. And one of my favourite things about it was actually the score. I don't know if either of you remember a show on Channel 4 called Utopia.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it. I kind of fell off that, but I need to get back into it.
I loved Utopia. It was great. Unfortunately, it only ran for two series. It got cancelled way too soon, to be honest. But the score was done by a person called Cristobal Tapia de Vere, who did the score for this film. And there's definite similarities in the score. And it's really quite good and interesting and unique. Yeah, so it's definitely worth checking out. I wouldn't go into it expecting Resident Evil, for example, but I mean, they have a place all of their own.
Is it a bit more on the lines of like 28 Days Later?
Yeah, it's kind of it's not as good as 28 Days Later, but then very little is in terms of zombie movies. Yeah, it's along those lines, sort of very British, very sort of measured and subtle, with quite an interesting and different story and structure, and it's beautifully shot. Yeah, definitely worth checking out if you like zombie films.
Is there something distinguishable? Because there's a lot of zombie films, and I'm a big fan of zombies, but I must confess I'm getting slightly tired of them. Is there something that you think like really special about that one that is worth seeing for that reason only?
It's actually the central character of the girl, Melanie, because she is a zombie. She's one of the hungries, but she's one of these second generation ones, and she has this high intelligence. The film really focuses on her mostly and her own dilemmas with what she is, and there's some I don't want to go into details because it's the kind of thing that the film does quite well to expand upon and develop in its own time, so it's better to go in kind of not expecting everything. But she's a really curious character, and how they kind of humanize her and the things she does in the film to essentially get to the conclusion that we get to in the film, that's what sort of makes it stand out a little bit from a lot of other zombie films, is that really the main character is a zombie.
They tried that with, oh gosh, what was it called? The one with Nicholas Hoult?
This is a totally different sort of film entirely.
Was it called Warm Bodies, or am I thinking something different?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Warm Bodies.
That's the one.
I mean, that was kind of okay. I thought that film. I mean, it's a little silly, but yeah, it had a decent sense of humour and a little bit hipster for my taste, to be honest.
Totally, absolutely.
But this is a better film.
Alex, you've been watching some things this week, haven't you?
Actually, for the past couple of weeks, I found the best combo for bedtime television. So I don't know if everyone else does this, but we like to watch a little something just before we go to bed.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
It has to be interesting enough to keep us going, but not too exciting that we can't stop watching. Like, we had a problem with that with Jessica Jones. We would start watching and won't be able to stop. And that's a bit of a problem at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're still awake, and you still want to see more, and you have work the next day. That's a bit of an issue. So, what we've come up is this combo of these two absolutely fantastic shows, which are completely different from each other, but are so great, I can't recommend them both enough. So you start by watching an episode of Ultimate Beastmaster.
Nice.
Now, there is nothing more that unfit, slightly overweight two people enjoy watching while cuddled up in bed is buffed, muscly dudes and ladies exercising the hell out of everything. Like, it is so satisfying. And if you have a snack in bed during that, it makes it even better. But basically, Ultimate Beastmaster, I think it's an American competition reality show? I'm not sure. But it's basically an obstacle course of various levels. And I believe 8 countries participate in that. You have, now I hope I'm going to get this right. You have obviously America, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Brazil, and Germany. Yeah, I think I got them all. So they participate, and for each episode, there are 2 participants from every country, and they go through a series of obstacle courses. And the whole idea, basically, is that the whole obstacle course is in the shape of the beast. So first you climb through its tongue, then you kind of slide through its brain matter, and then there are like little kegs that are turning around. Anyway, so it's very super dramatic. Like, you can see there's a lot of money went into building that and making that unnecessarily Disneyland, cartoonish, exaggerated, but like Disneyland in a very dark sense of the word. But yeah, and so they go through level 1, and then during the level 1, only the 8 competitors with the highest scores come to level 2. Then there's down to 5 competitors, and then to level 3. After level 3, only 2 competitors go through, and on the final level, all their scores get wiped out, and they race trying to get as high as they can possible in kind of a huge wall climbing thing, which gets more complicated as you get to the top, and whoever gets either more points on that and is also higher, that's the person who is crowned Beastmaster for that round. And the one episode that we have left, and we're super excited about it, is that the winners of all those 9 rounds are gonna fight for the title of Ultimate Beastmaster. And oh my god, it's amazing. But if this doesn't sell you on the show, the other absolutely amazing selling point are the commentators. Every country has their own 2 commentators, and they have their booths next to each other. And the cool thing about that, like, you mostly get the American commentators, but once every time they'll pan to a commentator whose competitor just fell into the blood of the beast, which is, by the way, is the water underneath all those courses, but it's called the blood of the beast.
Is it tinted red or something?
Yeah, they make it red, but I think with lights. I don't think they do anything to it.
People coming up looking all bloody and stuff would be a bit more macabre.
Yeah, I don't know. They're necessarily dramatic. So they pan to the other commentators, and they have like little subtitles for what they say, which is incredibly dramatic. Now, the American commentators, and I told Lauren this, so she's very excited. One of them is Carissa Thompson, who don't know who that is, don't really care. But the other one is Terry Crews.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that sounds so good.
And we love Terry because Terry loves yogurt.
Terry loves yogurt!
For anybody who doesn't know, we're referring to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he plays one of the most huggable detectives ever.
Oh, he's wonderful in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And he's wonderful as a commentator. He's just such a happy, joyful person. Every time I see him, I just want to smile and say, thank God, Terry, you're here. You make a world a brighter place. You're so good. We don't deserve you, Terry. You're so good. I have all the love in the world for that man. He's amazing. But the other commentators are also hilarious. My favorite one are the Korean ones, because if you imagine, and I know this is different cultures, so don't jump on me, but if you imagine dramatic anime characters when, like, something goes bad and their eyes turn into crosses, or their faces go red, or when something bad happens, they have a little, like, smoke from above their head to show how affected they were. Literally, that's how the Korean commentators, like, act. Like, their face expressions and how they react to everything that happens to their competitors is the most hilarious thing in the world. But the dude, one of them, his face gets red all the time, and it always looks like he's either about to burst out in rage or burst out in tears. And it doesn't matter what is the consequence. Like, he's the most adorable little Korean man ever. And the woman is also, like, just their facial expressions. I mean, they make that whole show so good. And apparently, to add to that, the executive producer for that show is Sylvester Stallone, so he appears, like, for 2 seconds every episode, says something, and then disappears.
Wow. This sounds weird, but in a really awesome way.
And it's on Netflix, you guys, so you absolutely have no excuse not to watch it. If you subscribe to Netflix, it is so good. I'm so happy we've discovered this and tried to watch it. But after we've seen the episode of Ultimate Beastmaster, we need to we're energized, we had our laugh, we shouted at competitors who just missed the landing and fell into the blood of the beast. We need something to come down to us. We need a soothing, relaxing voice telling us about the important stuff. So then, we switch to Cosmos, A Space Odyssey, because there is nothing better than Neil deGrasse Tyson talking Spacey to you.
Talking Spacey to you.
Yes.
He has a wonderful voice.
It is the best. He's also another wonderful human being that I'm so thankful we have. Yeah, so Cosmos, A Space Odyssey, actually it's a documentary television series which is narrated by Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is obviously very famous astrophysicist. And what he is famous for, or at least why I know him, is because he explains science in an incredible, reachable and understandable way. The way he tells some very complicated concepts is so that every man and every woman can actually understand it, and it's really fascinating to actually listen to him. Not just I've listened to other interviews he's done, he's obviously an incredible man, I don't really need to mention that, but he's an absolute joy to listen to because he's one of those really clever people that manage to sound clever without punching you that in the face. You never feel like he's above you because he's so clever. He always makes you feel on the same level, but he's just telling you a very interesting story about something you might have not realized about. And that really helps that show, again, because it's just explains science in very interesting and fascinating ways. Well, two fun facts, I guess, that I've kind of discovered from watching this, because I was not exposed to this series before. Fun fact number one is that it's actually based on Cosmos, A Personal Voyage, which was a similar series, which was presented by Carl Sagan, who is obviously incredibly famous astronomer, cosmologist, astrophysicist, all of those things. And then I believe his wife, who's a co-author for the current Cosmos, she wanted the series to continue, which comes a second fun fact. I guess you can call them fan, I don't know, is that Seth MacFarlane is actually executive producer on the show. He's provided most, if not all, of the funding to make Cosmos, A Spacetime Odyssey happen. And I see his credits as, and whenever we watch the Cosmos, I'm like, oh, Seth MacFarlane, surely that's not the Seth MacFarlane Family Guy Seth MacFarlane. It is!
How odd.
I know! Kind of makes me like Seth MacFarlane more.
Yeah, I have a little more respect for him now, if I'm honest.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really, I'm okay with him. There's some really stupid things he's done that I don't like.
Yeah, he says stupid things sometimes, yeah.
Exactly, but I've grown to respect him now. He made this awesome program happen. But yeah, so these are my two recommendations for both Netflix shows, both available on Netflix. Both absolutely fantastic, can't be more different from each other, but an incredibly great combination.
I love a good bit of telly watching before bed. There's something really decadent about watching telly in bed.
Yeah, and Cosmos is really great because it's really quite soothing, and the background noise of space and the music within that TV show it's in a low enough tone that it kind of lulls you to sleep. It's really nice. I've gone to sleep kind of listening to things like Game Grumps, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and so on. And sometimes they're really good, really chill. There's certain playthroughs on Game Grumps are really good, and certain episodes of Always Sunny which were always good. But as they keep playing, you might get a scene in Always Sunny where Charlie Day starts screeching about something, about turkey pants or denim turkey or something like that. But yeah, Cosmos is routinely chill all the way through. It's really good. That and the original season, which I think is also on Netflix.
Is the original also on Netflix?
It was. I don't know if it still is. I have seen it on there. I'll have to check.
Oh, because I would like to watch it, because, I think this is our second round of Cosmos. Tim's seen it before we even started doing our combo, and I think now we've run through all the episodes, and I don't want to lose my perfect bedtime lullaby.
Terry Crews in space. You can't really go wrong with that.
No!
Well, I think Wonders of the Solar System is on there.
Yeah, I've watched that already.
All of it.
I really like stuff about space.
Space scares me.
It's Wonders of the Universe, Wonders of the Solar System.
We have that separately on DVD as well. But Joe, what about all the pretty stars? Are you scared by pretty stars?
Scary. Space is scary.
Oh my god. I've just figured it out. This is why you don't like Expanse. Because it's about space.
It's just scary, there's all that nothingness and, oh no, don't like it.
Then watch Wonders of Life, that's all about Earth. You'll be fine.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got Brian Cox on there with his big lips.
Nice. He's very soothing.
Oh, he's got a very soothing voice.
Yeah, could definitely listen to him talk about science.
And he's up for a giggle as well.
Yep.
I was watching the other day and he's on it and he's talking all pseudoscience balls. Oh, it's Charlie Brooker. It's Charlie Brooker.
Oh,
yearly wipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's fantastic. Okay, going on to something else which might set you off a little bit, Joe, because I went to the Oculus showcase last week where new Oculus Rift and Gear technologies were shown off and a bunch of new games in a weird Shoreditch party up in Hackney. It was very strange. But I did get to see a fair few new games and play with the Oculus Touch controllers, which are pretty cool. Got to play a really cool game, which, Joe, this is the one I don't think you'll like, called Lone Echo.
Oh, is it in space?
It is in space. And it's one of the few movement-based Oculus games which I've really enjoyed. Or like VR games in general. Because a lot of the times when I'm playing VR games where you have to move, look around, so on, I get a bit sick quite easily. You get the motion sickness and so on. But this one, you play as an AI in kind of a robot body and you are helping out a spaceship and you are being calibrated. So the calibration is your tutorial, you're learning the tools. You essentially have your hands, which are your tools, and you can change the position of the fingers so you can do gripping and so on. You can hit some buttons on your wrist, which brings up a map or like different tools like a laser gun for cutting things and so on. And the way you move around, because it's all zero gravity, you propel yourself through space either by grabbing onto stuff and pushing yourself through space, or using little thrusters on your wrist, so using the trigger buttons. As I was playing it, it actually had a feeling that I was moving through space. It was very immersive, that everything kind of had a weight to it, because if I was holding on to a beam and I was trying to get a better vantage, I'd pull myself up on the beam and it'd kind of feel like you're doing those actions, really interacting with the space around you. And there's a moment where you're on a transport, an open top transport, going back to your original place on the spaceship. And the guy next to me goes, make sure you hold on, otherwise you're going to fly backwards because there's no gravity. There's nothing keeping you on that platform. As soon as that ship stops moving, unless you're holding on to it, you're not moving with it. It's just really, really cool. Quite a bit different to anything I've played on these consoles so far. Really felt like I was moving, even though I was in a large open area, but I could stay within the same kind of half a meter square box quite easily and still feel like I'm moving about this entire world. It was really cool.
It does seem like space is perfectly suited for VR. You know, the potential to do stuff in VR with space. Yeah, it seems like it would always be a good playground for that kind of thing.
Absolutely. There was a lot of games based in space with all us having a space theme there, but they were all shooty, run around, kill things. This one, you had zero gravity. You were an AI just helping maintain a ship. At the point I was playing, you can go further on, but it felt weighty. There was moments which were quite stressful, like the human I was helping, she got her foot trapped on the side of the capsule because it got trapped after this anomaly happened in space that they were studying, and I had to come around and help cut her out of it.
So she could have gone out into space?
Oh no, her foot was trapped into the side of the hatch. So if the anomaly had gone off and she was there, it would have disintegrated her.
Oh,
ouch.
Yeah, so I had to cut open the hatch, move the hatch so she'd get her foot out so we can get to safety just around the corner. But it wasn't shooty, something's trying to kill you. And a couple of the other games I played, there was one, I can't recall the name, but it had two different movement modes. So they had comfort mode and first person. So first person is your traditional, you are running about, your face is moving all the time. And that's the type of movement that kind of spins me out, makes me feel quite sick quite easily. And then the comfort mode is you move with the analog stick on your left hand. An avatar comes out of your body and you move it down the corridor to as far as you want to go, or to your line of sight. Once it comes out of your line of sight, your body pops into where that image was. So it's kind of like a teleportation, but you're moving the character. That makes sense?
Yeah, I've seen that in a few other VR titles as a way of moving around.
Yeah. So they called that comfort mode. But that one was a shooty. You were on a spaceship Kind of reminded me of Serenity from Firefly. Obviously, the first thing I did when I got a gun was shoot my crewmate.
Mutiny!
Well, I'm the captain, it's fine. The issue was, as soon as I got on there, my left hand disappeared.
Oh.
Because that controller didn't work. Then the Oculus set wasn't working, it kept mucking up. Reset the game, left hand still not working, so they had to change out the batteries. So at that point I was just like, I'm just going to kill everything I can. I was running around playing about, found some more weapons, shot another guy, teleported to this other ship where robots had taken over, tried to shoot them, died. I was like, okay, this is boring. It was nothing special, it was just run around shooty things. Game which was a bit different. I hadn't seen something like this on VR before. One called Blade and Soul, which is like a tabletop RPG type thing. You have a bank of characters, kind of like, they look like little models, kind of like little amiibos, and you build up a little pack of about 6, which you keep on your arm or your wrist, and then you get put into the game. When you're in the game, you have a battle board in front of you. You are one side, your opponent's the other, and you send out your characters to defeat or defend yourself. So, yeah, that was kind of fun. You just send out characters, you see them run off, fight each other, go and attack your enemy, and it was just a bit of fun. You can level up your characters with coin you earn. You can earn new characters from loot boxes at the end. Kind of Hearthstone-y, I suppose. One game, this one was weird. So the entire event was kind of like a shortish rave, as I said earlier. So they had bars everywhere, they had music and food, but the music was so loud that I couldn't hear what was going on in half the games, which was an issue, yeah. So set up more like a party. I didn't recognise like anyone else from like gaming media there or blogs or anything. The only person I recognised was Nick Grimshaw from Radio 1.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there was a number of people just kind of standing about with the drinks. And it's like, okay, so what's going on here? The first game I tried, because I got there as it opened, was a game called SingSpace. And I don't think they really told the Oculus guy who was showing it how to demo these games.
Is it set in space?
No, it's not set in space.
Oh, good.
There are robots, kind of. I think you wouldn't like this for different reasons. This game was kind of silly. So I sat down, they put the headset on me, didn't tell me anything about it, how to play it, what the point was. Like, okay. The guy was kind of stumbling through everything he was doing. I was like, okay, I'm the first person there, right? Then this girl started talking to me as like, oh yeah, I'm part of the PR team with this game. It's like, alright, I'm taking my headset off, I'm gonna actually talk to you before I play this game. Thanks for introducing yourself. So this game is by Harmonix, so the people that do Rock Band and all that. And it is meant to be a social singing experience. So it's for the Gear VR. You put it on, and you put on a performance for your friends. The whole idea of this is, say, you're in LA and your friends in New York, you could play together and still have a good time in a kind of karaoke game this is. But the point system is utterly ridiculous. So there's a single player mode and multiplayer mode. Single player mode is pretty much just practice. There's no point to it. The multiplayer mode, you pick a song, you sing along to your song, and you can get your little avatar to do dance moves. So you have 4 options in front of you. You can change up the options using a central button, and you use the little trackpad on the side of the Gear VR to make your selection. So the more dance, the more the crowd likes you, the more hearts and emojis you get. If you're playing multiplayer, like if Alex was singing, I could send her different emojis based on how much I'm liking her performance, and at the end, I can send her roses.
So it'll be just poo emojis then, huh?
But their thing was, it's not about how well you sing, it's about your performance. So, like, you don't even have to sing on it. Like, okay. So this game is called SingSpace, and there's no measure of accuracy. There's no actual measure of score in the game. It's just how happy you make your friends and what emojis they sent you.
So it's kind of pointless.
Yes. Pretty much. So I was sat in this white cornered off room on the sofa with these 2 random people who didn't really know what was going on, singing Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
Nice.
Because there's a limited selection of songs. They only let me play the single player mode. The guy was like, oh, are you going to pick One Republic? I was like, no, Gloria Gaynor. I will survive, duh.
That is the right choice.
Why would I pick anything else?
Yeah.
But there was only like 5 songs, so then, okay, best of a bad bunch, I suppose. And then I was doing it, and I was singing, and it's like, I wasn't even doing my best singing, I was like, and just hitting random dance moves. And at the end, they go, yay! That's literally what was on the screen. Yay.
God, that sounds like torture to me. That sounds like actual torture.
I enjoy singing games. Like, when it comes to Rock Band, the only thing I know I can do successfully is singing on there. And I used to be a drummer. I suck at the drumming. Because I actually try and do a beat. I can't follow it for some reason. But I like doing the singing.
Yeah, I mean, I like playing Rock Band with friends and stuff, but to do it on, like, in a show in front of a bunch of strangers, I'd be like, no, this is pain.
See, I get self-conscious just playing games on the show floor, because I'm like, someone's gonna stand behind me and judge how badly I'm doing.
You're doing it wrong. Noob.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see anyone because you're wearing a Gear VR, for one thing.
Yeah.
And then there's guys sitting next to me and the woman who works PR. And then there's like a big kind of surgical curtain around this area.
But they can still hear you.
Barely. It was literally sounding like a rave in there.
Oh, yeah, this doesn't sound fun.
It's like all the games I was playing, the music was... audio was up as loud as it could go. Like I was playing Lone Echo, and I think I must have been really close to a speaker or something, but I kept asking, can you put the sound up so I can't hear anything? Oh, can't do anything. It's loudest it will go. It's like, that is ridiculous. So it was one of the oddest launch events I've been to. I don't know. There's some interesting games on there. Check it out. I really do suggest Lone Echo. There is not a release date yet, but when I find out, I will let you know, because that game was really, really fun. Blade and Soul, I'm pretty sure you could probably play that without the Oculus support. The only interesting thing was, like, you got to kind of chuck your pieces down, but you could do that with a mouse. You don't need to be staring into a pair of goggles for that. And SingSpace was pointless. They were just the 3 key ones I wanted to mention on this. The touch controllers are nice. They're quite small. They're pretty cool. Yeah, and the week before, I was at an event for the release and launch of Stories Untold. There was a stream hosted by Gav Murphy of IGN fame. My review is up on BigRedBarel.com, so go check it out there. And that's the reason I've been off for the last 2 weeks.
Yay, you've been doing awesome stuff.
Yeah. So, Alex, what have you been reading?
Oh, that is not actually a book. That is actually a game, but it is called...
It tricked me! It tricked me.
Yeah! This is Herald, an interactive period drama, and it is an episodic one. I believe there is 4 stories all in all, but I've played through book 1 and 2. I've played this on PC, and I believe it's available PC, Mac, and Linux, so it's not a console thing. Now, here's the thing. When I saw this, one thing that put me off straight away was point and click, because, you know, I don't get along with point and clicks.
Yeah.
But then it said basically Alex's version of catnip, which was divergent story paths.
Ah.
And I was like, hello. I need to see that. I didn't suffer from the point-click bit of it because the point-clickiness of it is pretty much on the Telltale side.
Oh, that's not bad then.
You don't really have to do much. There isn't really an inventory management that I imagine goes with the point-click, or at least in my experience did. If there is anything like that, the point-click is all in terms that you move, and then you talk to the characters, and you can also click on objects around you to learn more about it. So yeah, in that terms it was good because Telltale is the amount of point-click I can get behind.
So what's it about?
Okay, so it's set in kind of alternative universe, or where our history took a divergent path, and I believe it's 1887 is the time. But basically what happened is that Britain successfully took over pretty much everything. The monarchy did not survive this. It is now called a protectorate, and everything else are the colonies of the protectorate. And you're based on this ship called Herald, and your main character is called Devon, and he was born in the capital of Protectorate, raised by a white family, but he is ultimately a mixed race, so he's half white, half Indian. And he returns back to the Indian colonies to get back with his roots. And while he's on the journey on the ship, because all the events so far pretty much has happened on the ship, some things happen. And the conversation is very much, you There are things about aspects of colonization, questions of diversity and race, and all that kind of stuff. That is the thing that the game comments on. Luckily not like in a ham-fisted way. Like, I really like how it's just, and here's how people live here, and this is the situation. And when you go through your through playing the game, you kind of learn bits and pieces about the story and about that world and about how, for example, India struggles under the protectorate. The only weird thing, or that I found weird, is that all your stories on the ship is Devon remembering them, because he was captured by the Indian queen. They refer to her just as Rani, no name so far, and she sits him down and is like, look, you've been on the ship, you're wearing blue uniform, which is, the colors of the protectorate. You tell me what happened on there, I demand that you tell me the story. And the problem with that is that she straight away asks you, like, questions about Devon, and there's 3 choices, and I don't know how much difference do the choices make. I don't have enough information to make these choices. I can't really make a decision why I was in that ship. It's right off the bat. I haven't been to the ship yet. I don't know what made me go on that journey. I don't know anything. Like, I need a little bit more to know about Devon. This was just one hiccup at the beginning, but I thought after that, the narration, the story introduced things in a very gradual and kind of nice way that I could get behind, and I could actually make up my mind. Okay, this is the option of the conversation that I'm gonna take, and this is what I'm gonna say. The game itself, this 3D is a bit low poly and a bit, I don't want to say rubbish, because it's not rubbish, and rubbish is a very harsh word, but it's even when we were complaining about Telltale Engine, right? And how they seriously need to update their engine because their animation just really needs to get to a new level. The animation level of this game is even below that.
Oh, wow.
Some of the polys are really just a bit... They actually remind me like of the very, maybe not the first, but like the second Harry Potter game that came out on PC when I was about 12 or something.
Oh my. Okay. So pretty janky then.
Yeah, they're a little bit janky, but what saves the whole thing is that whenever you're in conversation with someone, next to the kind of 3D of the scene, you also have an absolutely beautiful 2D drawings of the characters, and those drawings are really beautiful art, really detailed, and that kind of makes it all better, because I kind of don't even look at the scene, I look at that 2D character, slightly talking, a little bit talking, and that makes it so much better, and that makes the game more enjoyable. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it actually. Each book took me maybe about an hour to get through. From what I've already seen, I already see where some paths could have diverged, and I saw, for example, that some of in the first book, basically, and I don't think that's a major spoiler, but I had to take a gun away from a person, and I can see how not taking a gun would have resulted for a different ending.
Alright.
For the book 1, like, I can see that setup. And then book 2 ends kind of on a pretty big reveal. To me, it's now clear why they released both books, because after that hook at the end of book 2, I'm like, oh man, you got me now.
I need to know.
No, why? That's evil. That's evil for you to end it this way. I'm gonna also review the game and hopefully write about it in kind of more cohesive and less all over the place way, and that will be on BigRedBarel.com at some point soon, so you can check it out. But generally, I think if you like your telltale-y point and clicks, and it's a game with diverse characters, which is great, I think. It saddens me that this game uses this as a selling point. I almost feel like this should be a given at this point in age.
Yeah.
But, it is its selling point, and it's nice. Oh, and another thing that I forgot, Jim Sterling is actually one of the voices in this game, and I completely forgot, and when I came across his character, I didn't realize it was him, and in retrospect, I listened to his voice, and I'm like, yes, that was so obviously Jim Sterling. I did not know why I did not recognize when I met him in the game.
I've been hearing him a lot in games last month. Like, I heard him in the Portal outside Influence and he sounded like a posh goblin.
Yeah, he's plays kind of very moany, I want to say flamboyant character in this one as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But he does it very well. He does it very well.
It's just him.
And I think voice acting for this type of game, because not many indies get to voice act for every single character.
Yeah.
And I think voice acting is actually pretty okay in this game.
Speaking of something that I've been watching and, well, it's been infuriating me that I am unable to watch the next episode straight away, is Legion.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Did you see last week's?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I need the new episode now, please.
I need it. Is it Lenny? Benny? What?
Yeah.
What?
I just need to know. I need to know what's going on.
Yes. So this is the strangest of the Marvel TV shows. I've been watching Green Arrow as well of late. I've watched all the ones on Netflix. Haven't really watched the Agent Carter and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Kind of gave up on Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Legion is fantastic, and Dan Stevens is nice in it. I like him. Yeah, not interested in him in Beauty and the Beast.
No, definitely not.
Not bothered about that.
That film needs to go away.
That is one of my favourite Disney films. I wanted to be Belle when I was a kid. I have a porcelain Belle on my shelf downstairs. I'm not interested in seeing that at all.
No, I'm not convinced. It doesn't have Angela Lansbury in it, so...
And Mrs. Potts looks weird. They all look weird.
Nah.
Yeah, I think we did talk about this. None of this...
No, it just kind of reminded me last week because of we went to regular features and
yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
Gav Murphy just kind of summed up everything. He's like, a theatre in Alabama driving that's not going to play the film because there's a gay character. It's like, A, I'm pretty sure a bunch of them was gay. Just saying, they're in France. They're quite flamboyant, and B, there's bestiality. She's snogging a bloomin' oxen.
Look, for some reason, it's okay with all those hyper overly religious types too, and this is not something to do bad. You do you with God and whatever religion you follow, but some people take it up a notch, and for some reason, for them, it's not okay to be gay, but hey, get on with the monster beast and it's fine. The Stockholm Syndrome, that's really not a problem. And that logic I do not follow.
Yeah, so if you want to hear an interesting story about Alabama's objections to, and Alabama Drive-In's objections to watching Beauty and the Beast, check out Regular Features live show this month. It's quite amusing.
You'll probably hear Lauren at some point.
No, it's pretty quiet, this one, I think.
Really? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I usually yell at someone.
There can't be a live show where you don't appear somewhere near the mic. It's part of what we get the ticket for.
Well, the week before I ended up slightly on the live stream for Gav's playthrough of Untold Stories, because I was one of the only two people that went to the bar for it. So I ended up yelling at him. Going back to Legion. Legion is awesome. Watch it. I don't want to spoil anything. It's just wonderful. Aubrey Plaza is freaky as hell.
Yeah, she scares me. She scares me quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
In this show. But I just think one of my favourite things about it is the visuals, how it is shot. Like, the presentation, it's quite different. Like, I think they've been quite brave in how they've and how they're shooting this and how they're structuring the show. Because they're definitely not making it easy to follow.
Oh, no.
But I think that's one of its strengths.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too.
But my favourite bit is Jermaine Clements.
Oh, yeah. In his ice cube.
Oh, he is wonderful. I love Jermaine Clements in pretty much anything. And the week before,
he is very cool.
I've been watching him in Moana.
Oh, I need to watch that, yeah.
Oh, he's brilliant in Moana. He's like one of the best bits.
Do you know what upsets me most about Moana?
What?
Remember that once upon a time I went to a theater to watch the Overwatch Championship.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a proper theater, and the first time round I took a wrong corner and I walked straight into screening of Moana. I really should have stayed, considering that championship never happened and no one ever played Overwatch on that day. I should have stayed and watched Moana.
Was that the place down in Fulham?
I think so, yeah.
The esports place. Yeah, that's a cinema and all. You should have just stayed. Songs are brilliant.
Yeah, if I knew, I would have stayed.
Right, so we're coming up to time. Yeah, so check out Legion. It's fantastic. Don't want to spoil anything, because you should just watch it. It's weird as hell. But yeah. Alright, so we haven't got any shout-outs this week because we are recording on the day that we have released. So I'm just going to go through the usual spiel. spiel.
Can I just mention, by the way, if for anyone who hasn't noticed, but I think it's worth mentioning, Geek Speak is from now on is gonna come out every Monday morning. So if you want to set up your clock to Geek Speak upload time, that's gonna be Monday morning.
Geek Speak o'clock.
Yep, Geek Speak o'clock. That's actually gonna happen. We're gonna be a Monday morning show. Promise.
Nice.
I won't be awake. So, if you would like to get in contact with us, you can do so on the forums, BigRedBarel.com/BigRedBarel.com. Leave a comment on the forums. You can also go to Facebook.com/BigRedBarel. Leave us a comment there. We also have the Gamer Nights group. You can go there, meet some lovely people. People are playing GTA, Horizon Zero online, and so on and so forth. You can also go onto Twitter at BigRedBarel.
How can you play Horizon Zero Dawn online?
I don't know. I don't play that game. I thought it was online.
They might play and just talk to each other as they're playing it or something. I don't know. Because there's no multiplayer on that game.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I haven't played it. Yes.
Where you should.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's amazing. Robot dinosaurs. Woo!
I'm a bit busy still doing Diablo.
Yeah, but
Only
what?
like 3,000 hours in. Too busy, man. Too busy. New games. What's that?
I'm working on an achievement. I'm trying to get 6 characters up to level 70 of different classes. I've done 3.5 so far.
And how long has that taken you?
Well, 2.5 have taken me maybe 4 days in total. But like my main one is level 70 Paragon 256. So she's pretty OP and I just play her all the time because I love her. And I don't even know how many hours I put in because I can't find out and I shouldn't really because it's too much. And most people already know the story that I have. That's the 3rd time I've made that character because my previous 2 characters were deleted.
Oh.
Yes.
One on purpose, one by accident.
Yes.
So we hate the first person, but we forgive the second person.
Yes. That was for more storage. Twitter at BigRedBarel, use the hashtag GeekSpeak. You can use our personal Twitters. I am at the Sweet Shrimp.
I'm at Solus_Butts.
Have you changed it?
No, I'm just seeing if I can get away with it.
No, you can't.
I'm DustyTulip_, fine.
Just because you're the editor now, don't get all sassy on me.
And I am at Pixel Ritual.
You can also go on to iTunes and give us a little review. 5 stars is preferred, but whatever you think we deserve, that's fine. You can also give us a comment on the YouTube videos. That's nice too. We also have an event every Tuesday, Tabletop Tuesday, in Loading Bar in Dalston, where you could go along, play a featured game that week, and you can win it that very evening. Just go to BigRedBarel.com. Top left-hand corner of the front page is a static post all about the event and the game this week.
And the feature game for the upcoming Tuesday is called X-Tiles. And it looks rather splendid.
So for episode 81 of Big Red Barel Geek Speak, I have been Laura.
I have been Butts.
I have been Small Butts.
We bid you goodbye. Bye!
Bye! Butts.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.